And when I spoke out in the House of Commons in London about this, many of the members of Parliament smirked and jeered behind their hands because they were unwilling to believe that such terrible things could be happening. NSPCC, which is our National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, their inspectors that look after children at risk all over the country were reporting that throughout the United Kingdom they were finding evidence of satanic abuse. And so that really reaffirmed what I've been telling the House of Commons.
All Satanists have been abused as children. All. There is not, I can't imagine any normal person going into something so horrific, vile, disgusting, so violent, humiliating, could possibly, it's impossible.
Jim Phillips was a doctor of medicine with the police force before he opened his own private practice in Birmingham. Lately, he's more and more focused on victims of abuse in early childhood. He's achieved tremendous results with people who've been regarded hopeless cases within traditional psychotherapy. Perhaps he's most well known for his treatment of patients with multiple personality disorder.
As the children disclosed, I became more and more distressed at what they were telling me, and not a little frightened myself, in fact, because they were telling me things that you only saw in horror films and read in fictitious books.
And so a breakdown in communication, a breakdown in co-working happened in Nottinghamshire, and that became a cause which the nation began to take notice of.
That I had to do was sacrifice one of my own children. I'm trying. I was about 16, been going out with this girl that was involved in Satanism. She fell pregnant, and the same day that the child was born, I had to kill it.
A child, when it is first born, is innocent and pure. It's untouched, it's unspoiled. Nothing bad has ever entered that child. That child's thoughts are pure. So they sacrificed that to the devil as the child being pure. Because all things pure are feared by Satanists and also by the devil. So if you've got something pure and you destroy it, you take away the purity and there's no longer a threat there.
They really do think that if they can take away innocence and give it to Satan, that they're giving him the greatest gift of all. And so it has they do it for all kinds of reasons. The first reason is to dirty the child inside and out, and the second reason is to destroy the innocence.
Where is the proof? Where are the traces? Where are the bodies?
One former witch who revealed to me that she had actually been present while a child was sacrificed said they do it in a different way. Normally, the high priest has relationships with some of the witches in the coven, and they produce a child. And when that child is born, it's never registered as born, and therefore no one knows that child even came into the world. And I was told it was some of those children that were sacrificed.
I would be telephoned by someone to say, we've got a young woman who thinks she's had a baby but can't quite remember. Is this possible? Is it possible for things to happen to you that you've forgotten and you're beginning to remember? So I would say, it is possible, let's talk about it. And gradually the story would emerge of a young woman in her 20s who may have had anything up to 6 babies as a young woman between the ages of, a young girl, between the ages of 11, 12, up to their early 20s, which were aborted and used for sacrifice in a variety of ways in covens.
The same thing happens in ritualistic abuse. Yes, you stood and watched that baby be sacrificed and you didn't do anything about it. You actually abused the person next door to you. You actually subjected them to all kinds of sexual perversions. You were involved in that particular sexual orgy that took place. You can't have been objected to it. You were part of it. So you can't get out of it because you're as guilty as...
Because the barristers representing the children said, if we fill the minds of the jury with all this mumbo-jumbo about Satanism, devil worship and black witchcraft, the members of the jury won't believe a word the child is saying. Indeed, some of them wouldn't wish to believe a word the child was saying, and the case would break down.
Some children claim that they have seen babies microwaved. In other words, put in a microwave oven, and they have said it then fizzled and whatever.
People have often said to me, you know, how do I know that children aren't lying? How do social workers and doctors and everybody? Well, a very low percentage of children lie about this particular kind of problem, or any kind of child sexual abuse. Sometimes because of their tender years, they don't even have the know-how to put this into words unless they've experienced it. And because you know the fear mechanisms around the child cannot be in any way done in any artificial way, that these children are genuinely, absolutely terrified. If you talk to them, and I have talked to witches, I have talked to people who've been still in, are really subconsciously quite frightened and fearful of what they're doing to their children, but they don't seem to be able to stop it. And I once had an experience where a black witch actually rang me up and said her son was about to attain the age of 7 years old and was to be initiated, and could I save her son?
Nurses, doctors, lawyers. There was judges that I'd been up in court in front of, involved, you know.
I have never yet met a happy Satanist. They are very unhappy people. They usually have drugs or drink problems. They wander the earth looking for some purpose in life and gaining nothing. And I have heard from other Satanists that quite a high proportion of them do kill themselves in the end. So I really cannot understand why anybody would get into such a destructive way of life.
Well-organized satanic groups are creating a reign of death and destruction. These highly destructive Satanists make families their primary targets. They believe that the breakdown of the family unit will guarantee the destruction of goodness, morality, and civilization. 50% of bizarre murders may be linked directly to satanic and other occult organizations. Members of satanic or occult groups share common traits: the desire to perform certain bizarre acts that society condemns, mind control, or the power to force others to act out whatever is commanded of them, and the access to perform perverted sex acts, such as homosexuality, bisexuality, and necrophilia. All of these acts are carried out in the name of Satan, and that is when the nightmare begins for decent people everywhere. The Cross of Confusion is an ancient Roman symbol, the letters ACDC, Antichrist, Devil Child. Sometimes you may see the goat's head superimposed within the pentagram. The hexagon, also referred to as the Seal of Solomon, is frequently used by many young people in the occult world. Horns and tail added to any letter of the alphabet.
I am the sayer of the law. Here come all that be new to learn the law. Say the words. Learn the law.
Members of satanic and occult groups come from all walks of life. They desire quick answers and the ability to cause instant changes. Others are drawn into Satanism by heavy metal rock music. Anton Sandor LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan, was once a circus lion tamer. To help determine if someone you know is drawn to Satanism, review these levels of satanic involvement. The fun and games level may include conversations, which could lead into the second level, referred to as the dabblers. Joining a satanic or occult group will, in time, lead into the no-turning back stage, where warning signs of satanic behavior may be apparent. You should look further for ritual items such as a pentagram, a chalice or goblet, a decorative dagger or knife, a personal diary with a black cover, which is called a Book of Shadows, and possibly a small altar. If you discover items such as these, contact your local law enforcement agency at once. Overcoming this evil begins with every family. Parents must provide attention and love, protecting their children from corrupt influences. When this is accomplished, you can be confident that children will grow into happy, well-adjusted, and productive citizens, free from satanic and occultic influences.
Toledo detectives are at the scene of what appears to be the ritualistic murder of Sister Margaret Ann Paul. Found in the sacristy of Mercy Hospital, the nun has been stabbed 31 times. Investigators see no reasonable motive. The nun's ungodly murder slips into the cold case files. But in June of 2003, the old cold case is revived when the Attorney General's office receives a letter from a woman with startling allegations against members of the Toledo, Ohio clergy.
The letter contained a lot of examples of sadomasochistic sex, priests paying to have sex with young girls in the parish, ritualistic things, girls being on the altar, being offered up, animals being sacrificed. The letter even had examples of children being killed.
There had been people in robes that surrounded her at a very young age in a basement with candles, being penetrated by snakes and having insects put on her body.
The woman alleges abuse from multiple members of the clergy over the course of 7 years, beginning in 1968. One of the priests she claims sexually assaulted her is Gerald Robinson. Sentenced to 15 years to life, he maintains his innocence to this day.